Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela was born on July 18, 1918, in the village of Mvezo, South Africa, into the Thembu royal family. His father, Gadla Henry Mfakanyiswa, was a chief, and his mother, Nosekeni Fanny, instilled in him the values of dignity and resilience. Mandela's childhood was steeped in Xhosa traditions, but his worldview expanded when he attended a Methodist missionary school, where a teacher gave him the English name Nelson. After his father's death, 9-year-old Mandela was placed under the guardianship of Regent Jongintaba Dalindyebo, leader of the Thembu people. At 16, he underwent the traditional Xhosa initiation rite, symbolizing his transition to manhood. Later, he attended the University of Fort Hare, the only Western-style higher education institute for Black South Africans. There, he studied law and met Oliver Tambo, a future ally. But when Mandela refused to accept a rigged student election, he was expelled, a foreshadowing of his refusal to compromise with injustice. Mandela fled an arranged marriage in 1941, moving to Johannesburg. Working as a night watchman and law clerk, he witnessed the brutality of apartheid, black miners living in squalor, past laws controlling movement, and systemic racism. He enrolled at the University of Witwatersrand to study law, becoming the only black student in his class. Here, Mandela met Walter Sisulu, a real estate agent and anti-apartheid activist. Sisulu became his mentor, introducing him to the African National Congress, ANC, a political party fighting for black rights. Mandela joined the ANC in 1943, co-founding its youth league in 1944 with Sisulu, Tambo, and Anton Lembede. The league demanded bold, mass-based resistance to apartheid, rejecting the ANC's older, petition-driven approach. In 1948, the National Party institutionalized apartheid with laws segregating education, marriage, and public spaces. Mandela rose through the ANC ranks, advocating nonviolent resistance. In 1952, he spearheaded the Defiance Campaign, urging black South Africans to deliberately break apartheid laws, entering whites-only areas, burning passbooks. Over 8,000 were arrested, including Mandela. Charged under the Suppression of Communism Act, Mandela received a suspended sentence. By 1956, he faced the treason trial, accused of plotting to overthrow the state. Though acquitted in 1961, the trial hardened his resolve. The 1960 Sharpeville massacre, where police killed 69 black protesters, convinced him nonviolence alone couldn't dismantle apartheid. Mandela co-founded Umkhonto we Sizwe, MK, the ANC's armed wing, in 1961. The time comes in the life of any nation when there remain only two choices: submit or fight, he declared. MK targeted infrastructure, power plants, government offices, avoiding casualties. Mandela traveled abroad for military training and to seek support. In 1962, he was arrested for leaving the country illegally and sentenced to 5 years. While imprisoned, police raided an MK hideout in Rivonia, seizing documents outlining guerrilla strategies. At the 1963 Rivonia trial, Mandela and 7 others faced charges punishable by death. His 3-hour speech from the dock became legendary. "I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society. It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." Robben Island, 1964 to 1982. Mandela received a life sentence. Robben Island, a barren outpost near Cape Town, became his home for 18 years. Prisoners quarried limestone under the sun, breaking rocks into dust. Mandela, inmate 466/64, wore short pants, a humiliation reserved for black prisoners. Yet he turned prison into a university, debating politics with fellow inmates and earning a law degree via correspondence. He smuggled out messages, including a rejection of a 1976 offer to renounce violence in exchange for release. What freedom am I being offered while the people remain enslaved? International pressure mounted. The UN imposed sanctions, and global protests demanded free Nelson Mandela. By the 1980s, South Africa was a tinderbox, protests, strikes, and MK attacks escalated. President P.W. Botha offered Mandela conditional freedom. Mandela refused. In 1985, he began secret talks with the government, facilitated by Justice Minister Kobe Coetsee. After Botha's stroke, F.W. de Klerk became president, recognizing apartheid's untenability. On February 11, 1990, Mandela walked free, hand in hand with Winnie Madikizela Mandela, his wife. Millions watched globally as he raised a fist in triumph. In his first speech, he declared, "I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of the people." Mandela led the ANC in negotiations to end apartheid. Despite violence, including the 1992 Boipatong massacre, he insisted on reconciliation. The 1993 interim constitution paved the way for multiracial elections. That year, Mandela and de Klerk shared the Nobel Peace Prize. On April 27, 1994, South Africa held its first democratic election. Long lines snaked around polling stations as 19 million voted. At 77, Mandela became president, declaring, "Let there be justice for all. Let there be peace for all. Let there be work, bread, water, and salt for all." Mandela's presidency focused on reconciliation. He established the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, TRC, allowing perpetrators of apartheid-era crimes to confess in exchange for amnesty. Critics called it lenient, but Mandela argued, "Courageous people do not fear forgiving for the sake of peace." He retained white officials in his cabinet, including de Klerk, and embraced rugby, a sport synonymous with Afrikaner identity, during the 1995 World Cup. His iconic gesture of wearing a Springbok jersey united a fractured nation. Mandela stepped down in 1999, refusing a second term, a rare move among African leaders. He founded organizations addressing HIV/AIDS, poverty, and human rights. In 2004, he retired from public life but remained a moral beacon. His death on December 5, 2013, sparked global mourning. South Africans sang his praises in the streets, and world leaders paid tribute. His legacy endures in constitutions, schools, and the universal cry for justice. Mandela's life teaches us that forgiveness is strength, and leadership means serving others. His journey, from prisoner to president, showed the power of perseverance and hope. As he wrote in Long Walk to Freedom, "It always seems impossible until it's done." Mandela's story isn't just history. It's a call to confront injustice with courage and empathy. In an era of division, his belief that no one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin remains a guiding star.